We're just 33 days away from WrestleMania, the greatest show on earth, the showcase of the world, the granddaddy of them all, the grandest stage of them all, and we get an episode like this. What's going on, guys? Boss Up A6 here, back to another video, and today we're doing my Raw review from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and yeah, we're only 33 days away, and I I don't know, something about this Mania build really isn't clicking all that well. Like, there's some storylines that they are going apologies, that they are going for and trying to get us emotionally invested. But in all honesty, there's like maybe two or three matches that I'm really intrigued, and that's really about it. Now, there was a couple entertaining moments on the show, but overall, this show really wasn't that great. But to each their own, I guess. If you guys liked it, more power to you. So, let's get on to the show. We're going to recap of Jimmy and Zayn on SmackDown. What happened at SmackDown? And I do apologize for not reviewing SmackDown. I had a long day at work to put it in layman's terms, and I wanted to kick back and relax. And I went to a friend's house and just kind of hung out with a good friend of mine. And I didn't review SmackDown, but I did review the new Insomnium album. That was a good album. So enough of me bickering and blabbering. Solo and Jimmy come down, and they talk about Sami Zayn, and they talk about Cody and all that stuff. Here come the Street Profits, and they're like, well, you have the Bloodline, you have Jimmy, and you have Solo, you have Roman, and Jay. Wait, where's Jay at? And they say, well, and Jimmy says, well, every time the Bloodline faces the Street Profits, you know what happens. The Street Profits get beat. And then Ford says they want the smoke, and they brawl. Okay. Solo and Jimmy took on the Street Profits. It was fine. It wasn't bad. The thing is that the crowds for these shows don't sound they don't sound invested. Like, they'll look at the product and be like, "Oh well, that's fine," but it feels like they really are invested in it. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't care about this match. I'm just saying that it feels like that WWE is not giving us a chance to invest in these matches or in these characters. It wasn't bad. There was some decent stuff here, but in the end, Samoa Spike, there you go, Solo and Jimmy win. Then they go to Pillmanize Montez. Then no one shows up in some Sami Zayn esque outfit. Let's just put it at that. He shows up, stuns Jimmy, and kind of bails out before he gets hit by Solo. And there you go. Solo and Owens are going to be having a match next week. So all in all, kind of a bit messy, but some good stuff here. We recap Bobby and Brock. Here comes Brock, and he's just chilling out on the MVP lounge on the couches, and this is one of the more entertaining and funny moments, I guess you could say, on the entire show. MVP shows up, and MVP's like selling the match to Brock about his match with Omos. Oh boy, that's a match that's gonna happen. And Brock's like, you know what? MVP, you may have convinced me a little bit. I accept your challenge. How about we handshake and how about we have a toast? And all that stuff. And MVP's like, well, I got my champagne here. I'll pop a bottle. We'll be on our way to go. And Brock's like, no. We're going to toast my way. And Brock gets a Brock gets a flask from his vest or from his flannel jacket. And he says it's called White Lightning. And he drinks from it. And then MVP drinks from it, and then he does a spit take all over Brock, and Brock's getting cleaned up and all that stuff. And Brock was just being phenomenal. This was great. This was great. I loved this. And eventually, the MVP F5 the MVP. We're getting Brock versus Homos. Oh, sweet Lord Almighty! Oh boy, that match is going to be something. And before anyone says anything, that does not automatically mean that Vince is back in the company. It just means I don't know. I really don't know. Vince is not back in creative control. Quit listening to the quote unquote journalists that keep telling you otherwise. Idiots. Just kidding. I love you guys, but come on. The things I've been seeing on Twitter is getting redundant at this point. Just because it's a match between Brock and Omos does not automatically mean that Vince is back in creative. They may have teased Gunther versus Brock at the Rumble. We could probably still get that match at SummerSlam. Just gotta be patient. Hell, I've even admitted we've got to be patient. So yeah, I mean, we all knew that Brock wasn't gonna do Bray because God forbid, and I'll talk about Bray here in a bit. But yeah, the little sidebar rant there. Just everyone needs to calm down and calm your tits about it. So Kathy Kelly, good Lord, Kathy Kelly was backstage with Lita and Becky and talk about that they're going to win the women's tag titles tonight. About that, Cody took on Gable with Otis. I love Gable, I really do, but I really am starting to care less about him if he keeps taking pins. Like, granted, it's giving me TV time, but it doesn't really give me a reason to care about Gable because we all know he's going to be taking a loss. Like, what is the end game with it? There was an inverted superplex at one point that was pretty cool. Cody, it doesn't look like he has enough confidence. I feel like he's lacking confidence, and sometimes he doesn't really feel comfortable doing the moves that he does. Like I don't know. He doesn't feel natural in a way. Like I feel like he needs to stop being so insecure about things. Like that's just probably me in all honesty. But I don't know. Just this thing with Cody, it's just not really doing anything for me. He's a good worker, but that's kind of about it in all honesty. And in the end, Cody wins. So there you go. And Cody says Roman's gonna be at SmackDown. I will be there too. So Baron and Byron are backstage, and Corbin is talking about stuff with JBL, and then he gets cut off, and he storms off mad and all that stuff. And Owens shows up, and he says, "Well, I told you that this stuff with the bloodline is going to continue until I get what I want." And so there you go. Montez and Bianca do a Titanic skit. That was pretty good. Judgment Day are backstage. Great, I get to see Dominic on my television. Hooray! This feud with Ray has been bad. I'm sorry, it's been bad. People can like it, that's fine. Nothing against you guys, but I'm sorry, this feud's done nothing for me. It's just I don't have a reason to care about Dominic other than he's just Ray's son. That's literally it. Oh well, him and Maria are like the new Eddie Guerrero in China. Well, here's the thing. At least Eddie Guerrero had talent, and he actually stood out amongst the Guerrero name. It wasn't just a he wasn't just background noise in a way. And at least that angle had good chemistry. They try to have good chemistry with Rhea and Dom, but it just does not click with me in the slightest. And it feels forced. So that's just me. I'm probably having boomer takes. I really don't care anymore. So yeah, they talk about their matches that they're going to be having at Mania. I don't know what Priest is going to do. He's probably going to be doing much, but to each their own. Then Notice is backstage. And then Maximum Male show up. Oh, great. I get to see this on my television screen. They're going to be assisting him for his match against Gargano. Oh, Lord have mercy. Like, the first hour wasn't bad, but the second and third one were starting to go off the rails here. So Asuka took on Carmella. Corey simps over Carmella. Typical Corey. Bland and uninteresting and very bad at his job. I'm sorry, Carmella. I feel terrible for what she's been through, but I'm sorry. She does not belong in a ring. No. Asuka won with an armbar. Good. Then she calls up Bianca. Bianca looking phenomenal, by the way. Jesus, Lord of mercy. I don't blame Montez. Montez even admitted this one time that he even got a boner backstage while watching Bianca. Oh my God. Montez, you are a gentleman, my good sir. And so they hype up their match for Mania, and then Bianca gets attacked by Carmella. Carmella shoves Bianca or Asuka into Bianca, and that's going to lead to a match next week. Cool. Pepper Niven took on Candice. This crowd fell asleep for this one. Nikki was following Candice from behind. I love Piper. Candice is going to be at where she's at right now, and Nikki's not bad. But this match really didn't do anything for the women. I mean, at least the women got featured. That much I'll say. For everyone complaining and throwing a hissy fit about the women not getting featured enough, they featured the women half more than the men did on the show, in all honesty. So yeah, there you go. Candice won with a roll up. Cool. Again, Piper looking phenomenal as always. So Gargano and Byron are backstage. He's talking about his match with Otis. Then Judgment Day show up, and Finn issues a challenge to Gargano for next week. Cool. So Miz TV and Miz is going to be talking about his breaking announcement. He's hosting Mania. I mean, Stevie Wonder and Helen Keller saw that coming a mile away. Rest in peace, legends. Cool. I figured he was going to, in all honesty, but cool. And then the Rollins shows up, and Miz is annoyed, and they have a bit of a spat back and forth, and eventually Miz gets super kicked. And they keep talking about, oh, how about we FaceTime Logan Paul and see what his reaction is next week when I challenge him face to face. That's what Rollins said. And then super kick the Miz. He grabs Miz's phone and does the Miz face ID, which was hilarious. Seth FaceTimes Paul and he says, "Hey, I know you haven't been doing well because your little girl over there wasn't having a good day the other night." Talking about Jake Paul that he lost his match against some guy named Fury. I forgot who the guy's name is, but I'm surprised Jake Paul didn't rig the fight. That's all I'm going to say. And he says, "Well, I'll see you next week." So, I love Seth. Don't get me wrong, but this match with Logan Paul, I'm sorry, is going to do nothing. If Seth doesn't stomp Logan Paul's face on the concrete at Mania, that's a crime and a half. He better stomp Logan Paul to the point where his skull's going to be nothing but a pancake and blood's going to be going out of the frickin' ears and mouth and probably the balls if Logan Paul actually has some after probably the Yakuza cut them off after what he did in that suicide force in Japan. No, I don't know what the hell I'm rambling about. All I'm saying is that Logan Paul, good athlete, douchey human being. It's literally all I'm saying. I don't know why they go as far as they did, but I really don't care at this point because this show was not good up until this point. And he stomps Miz for good measure. So there you go. Kathy and Damage Control backstage. Everyone's looking great tonight, I may add. And they talk about their match against Becky and Lita. The Theory shows up, and the segment's already killed off. And look, Theory is a good talent, but I'm sorry, he just screams douchery. He does not sound intriguing. He cuts the same damn promo in the same damn tone. There's no intensity here. There's none. He doesn't get hyped up. It's just, you know, I'm going to talk about John Cena. He literally speaks in that damn tone. Get hyped up. Be confident, for God's sake. Which is what half this damn roster needs. He talks about Cena. It's obviously going to lead to a match at Mania. And there you go. I'm going through my notes here. Lashley took on Elias. It was just a showcase for Lashley. And there you go. Lashley wins. And we get a brief recap of Bray on SmackDown. And Boogs was backstage taking notes. Spear hurt lock. There you go. Lashley wins. He talks about Bray. Keep my name out of your mouth or you'll get hurt. I love Lashley, but his promos are very hit and miss. Like 60% of his promos don't really land the mark. And I'm sorry, but my producer's getting a little riled up, so I do apologize for that. Ray appears on the screen and does the Muscle Man dance. Remember when the Fiend character was cool in 2019 and then they completely butchered that at Hell in a Cell 2019? Thanks, Vince. Thanks. You are going to go to hell for all the crimes you committed against wrestling. Pearson and Chelsea Green are backstage. Okay, look, I've stated that I don't mind the Chelsea Green, Karen thing that they're going for here. I'm sorry, it's really starting to run its course. There's some people that like it, cool. It's really starting to get old really, really, really quick. And Carmella shows up. So this made this one of the most annoying segments in Raw in this past year, and we're only at the end of February. Carmella's getting a match against Bianca. Great. Great, great, great. More Carmella on my pay-per-view. Or on my television, rather. So let's put the maximum male monster in Organo. Hell no. Mace at one point was holding Johnny, and then Loomis shows up, chokes out Mace. We get 2 DDTs, and there you go, Organo wins. Not much more needs to be said about it. Recap of Cody. Kathy's backstage, and Paul Heyman's there. Thankfully, he didn't cut an awkward promo like he did last week. And he says, well, Cody's not going to show up on SmackDown. He's evading it. He's evading the island of relevancy and all that stuff. So there you go. We had a recap of Brock and MVP. Then we get to the main event. Lita and Becky versus Dakota and Neo with Bayley for the women's tag titles. It was fun. It certainly woke the crowd up for a little bit. Bayley was doing her typical heel shtick, and it wasn't bad. Lita looks great for her age, but there are times where she's starting to show some ring rust, which is kind of baffling to say because her and Becky put on a hell of a match at Elimination Chamber last year in Saudi Arabia. Yes, a women's match in Saudi Arabia. I'm surprised they even let women travel, for God's sake. Let alone let women breathe in that freaking corrupted government, stupid ass government. Calm myself down before I get into the political side of myself, but point being, that's what the Saudi Arabian government gets. I'm sure there's great citizens there, but that's what the government gets. Anyways, match was fine. Bayley, it's a 3-on-2, and I don't know what are they gonna do. All of a sudden, Trish shows up looking damn. That much I'll say. I almost got distracted by her at one point. She attacks Bayley, and then Io got hit with the moonsault. There you go. We got new champs. If this is going to lead to a 6-woman tag at Mania, I would not be against it. Don't let Lita and Becky go up against Shayna and Ronda for the tag titles because God forbid Ronda being in a match at Mania. That's terrible within itself. So there you go. Raw really was not that good, folks. It really was not. This show is, for building up a Mania, it's not really doing that great of a job. Yeah, you do have some entertainment qualities. They really need to start picking up the pace because it's only 4 weeks away. It's really starting to show some Mania 31 flags, which is not that great. But I hope it turns out to be like Mania 31, whereas the build-up was terrible, but the show was pretty damn good. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. What did you guys think about the show? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap that big red subscribe button, and tap that bell to be notified for when I upload. Or when I upload, you will be notified. Vice versa, same as it always is, same as it always will be. Until next time, guys, make sure, again, like, comment, subscribe, share it for all you care, and most importantly, join the herd. Until guys next video, peace out.